Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin.
I'm Londa Sherwood Austin. Welcome back.
I'm super excited about this particular program.
What? You're super excited.
I am, because it's fall and it's a little wet out and it seems a little gloomy, and I always get pepped up at the beginning of that season. I don't know why.
Oh.
It's like reverse depression, I guess. I get kind of manic during the beginning of fall. It's crazy.
Lucky me. Woo.
We just had daylight savings time, so we fell back last weekend. And why does it seem like it's midnight at 2 in the afternoon? It was only an hour. I don't understand it.
I don't get it either. But here we are.
It's really, really strange.
Yeah.
I would hate to have a job where I leave the house at 6 in the morning and come home at 4 in the afternoon, because I'd feel like a vampire living 40 days of night.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be crazy. I can't imagine that.
It's rough, to stay motivated. I think, for me, I shouldn't speak for the world at large, but they do sell a lot of those sun things.
The white light that makes you feel like natural sunlight.
Like you're not depressed.
Right.
Yeah. So apparently I'm not the only one in the world. But I think it's really hard to stay motivated and to be excited about just about anything.
Okay.
When it's gloomy and it's cold.
That's
right?
interesting.
I hate it.
On the other hand,
cold. I want to snuggle up in my covers and just go to sleep. I want to hibernate. I'm a bear.
Rawr. That's funny.
We just found out I'm a bear. I want to just eat a bunch, go to sleep.
If I grew a beard, I could be a bear too.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So how do you think, what are some ways that people can stay motivated during this time, these next, few months, if you live in a place like we do where it's
That's
weather?
A great question. And what you need to do during this kind of weather, and this is scientifically proven, is get more exercise, because exercise ups your serotonin levels and it ups your happiness feelings.
Tell me more.
And that can help offset the seasonal gloominess.
Hey, we were in a conversation recently and you dropped some stats that were very interesting about that. Do you have those right off the top of your head?
Not only do I not have them off the top of my head, I don't recall this conversation at all. Tell me more, and maybe it'll come back to me.
You were saying something like exercise is 5 times more effective than...
Exercise is 5 times more effective than antidepressants. If you take antidepressants, it's like 1 time better than doing nothing at all. The placebo effect is like 4 times better than taking antidepressants, and exercise is 5 times better. So
that's pretty shocking information. I'm not a doctor. Where did you hear that? I'm curious.
I heard that on a podcast.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting information.
And it's because
why don't we talk about that a little bit more?
Well, the podcast that I was listening to was talking about the pharmaceutical complex, right? Big pharma. And they were talking about how pharmaceutical companies have a vested interest in your illness.
Of course.
Because they want to keep helping you with it.
Right.
And so there are some benefits to antidepressants.
Sure. Of course.
Very minimal, though. Very minimal. The placebo effect is more effective than actual antidepressants in clinical trials.
So this goes back to the doctor that I was talking about that had 50 years of research of the placebo effect of the conclusion of her research is that the mind is the most powerful medication on the planet. Right. What in the world?
Well, Eastern medicine has been talking about that for centuries.
Sure.
So I think
I don't need any help hating on Big Pharma. Well, right? The whole thing. And I know you don't, but I feel very strongly about it, and I'm okay sharing that I feel very strongly about it. I do think, I always say funny No, I say follow the money.
Sure, that's what you say. Follow the money.
Follow the money, and you'll find the answer for a lot of things.
Yeah, I was talking to a client yesterday while we were showing houses. And by the way, people are buying houses now. Interest rates are at their lowest point in the last 3 years right now today.
Say that again.
Interest rates are at their lowest point in the last 3 years right now today. People are buying houses. Mm-hmm. The company that I send most of my loans through, United Wholesale Mortgage, UWM.
It takes what it takes, David.
Had their second best month ever in October. Second best month ever in October.
History?
In their 40 years of being in business. Second best month ever.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So people are in real estate making money moves right now today.
Huh.
Yeah. If you're waiting,
don't be afraid.
Right. Well, if you're waiting for the best time to buy, it is based on your need. It's not based on anything else at all. So if you need to buy, if you've got money burning a hole in your wallet and you want to let that out, you might think about buying real estate. Now's a great time to buy. Rates are down. Home values have kind of moderated a little bit, at least in our market. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see this trend across the country.
Well, I can tell you sellers are much more willing to work with buyers right now than I've seen in years.
Right. Right.
They're like, oh, you want those repairs done? Absolutely. You want a home warranty? For sure. Can we help you with closing costs?
Yeah.
Like, it's really...
And here's the thing to remember. In our market, the average home since 2019 has appreciated about $150,000.
Statistically, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. With that said, even if you're selling a house today less than what you thought you could have during the summer of this year, you're still way ahead. You're not losing money.
Right.
Perceived value has kind of moderated a little bit.
Yeah.
But value hasn't.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Now, I have a question, though, because we got onto that because you were saying that we were talking about follow the money.
Right. And I was talking to a client who we were showing houses to, who is from a foreign country.
Okay.
And he was talking to me about the economy and the medical expenses that are about to go up, that they're talking about in Congress, which caused the government shutdown. Mm-hmm. And what he didn't know is that the fight is not over insurance premiums. It's over subsidies that the federal government has been paying to make the average person think premiums hadn't gone up as much as they have. When the subsidies go away and the government's not offsetting your premium, you'll see the real price of your premium. And that's what we were talking about, because we were talking about healthcare and how in America, everything's dramatically more expensive than what he's seen in the other countries he's lived in. He's a scientist who's lived in several different countries.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was a very interesting thing. So you say follow the money, and that you actually said last night when we were talking about this while showing houses.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the government shutdown is not about insurance premiums going up. It's about people finding out that they went up, and now the subsidies are going away. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand the whole government shutdown thing. And why I say that is because I don't. And maybe I'm the only one who doesn't really get it. I don't really get it. I don't understand why we're shut down. I don't understand what the effects of that are going to be. Really, I don't know. To me, it's all very confusing, and so I just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
And I know that's terrible.
As a person who doesn't rely on any government funding really personally, it really doesn't impact me at all, right? But if I were someone who needed help with my food budget, I'd feel it. You know what I mean? Or if I had a federal job. Yeah. You know, if I worked in a position where there's no funding right now because the short-term spending bill is not agreed upon by the both houses of Congress, I'd be feeling it. I personally don't really feel it. And that takes us back to that economist we talked to in Louisiana on our radio show a couple years ago, who said, well, if you're having trouble paying your bills, you're in a recession. If you can't pay your mortgage, you're in a depression.
Right.
And that's real. Mm-hmm. So economics that impact you personally are really what's important, not the national stories. If you don't have something tied to federal government spending, your life isn't really impacted right now. And if you think it's a terrible injustice that people's food stamps aren't working, you should go work at the food bank on a volunteer basis.
Or donate at least.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, it's I don't know how deep I want to get into this, but, there will always and forever be a need for community.
Sure.
And
yes.
so if you, are concerned about making sure that the people you know and love, maybe the people you don't know, your friends, your neighbors, your people in your community, if you want to make sure that they are taken care of, then get out there and make sure they're taken care of.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there have been some really, really inspiring stories recently about, there's I could think of one, there's a coffee shop in Portland that started taking donations for people who were going to lose their SNAP benefits, right?
Right.
And it exploded. Somebody said, you guys should get a QR code or Venmo or something that people can just scan and donate to. And it went gangbusters, and now they're helping in their community to make sure that people are not going hungry, which I think is really outstanding. That's what I'm talking about. When community, the importance of community never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care what's going on in the world, the importance of community is always going to be there. You right? That's
I
what
absolutely
I'm saying.
agree,
So,
and I feel very strongly about housing because, as you know, I'm a duly licensed realtor and lender. Mm-hmm. And for years, I worked with Habitat for Humanity mm-hmm. on a volunteer basis because I do care about housing. And low-cost housing is something everybody should be concerned with. Everybody except the government. The people of the community need to work toward that, not the government.
That's good.
Which is why I love Habitat for Humanity and have emceed their annual fundraiser. You know what I mean? For free, not for pay.
Right.
Because I believe in that. And so I anybody who wants to talk to me about this government shutdown and complain, I would encourage you to find ways in the community that you could volunteer your time. Not necessarily your money, but your time to kind of put your money where your mouth is, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's not complain. Let's not talk about what's wrong. Let's talk about how we can make things right.
I love that.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I do.
I think that's important.
I do. We went to Costco 2 or 3 days ago, and we were, y'all, it was crowded. Let me just It was so crowded. The parking lot was jam-packed, and we just got a second Costco where we live. And so I heard somebody make a joke the other day. What's the best thing about the new Costco is the old Costco, right? Because it's not as busy. And I believe them. And because the newer Costco was jam-packed. The parking lot was crazy. Getting in the door was crazy. Once we got in, it was bumper to bumper carts everywhere. And I turned to you and said, we don't have an economic crisis. Look around.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. When I watched all the morning news shows on Halloween, it doesn't look like anybody is having trouble with money. The annual Thriller dance that they did in New York City, if you saw any video of that, I don't know how you can tell me there's a financial crisis. I mean,
I'm not ignorant to the fact there are people who struggle financially. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the economy is still strong. Take a look around.
If we've got $500 million extra dollars to buy Halloween costumes and candy, we're not in an economic crisis.
And $500 million is
across
the number
the country.
that you got.
That was the number they estimated on the news that people spent on Halloween. $500 million. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This year, $500 million. So yeah, you can tell me all you want to tell me about what's going wrong in the world. The largest lender in America had its second best month ever in October.
That's the thing, is you can't argue with that data.
Right. That's right.
So I guess there's nothing new in the world. Some things are going well. Some things are not going well. Some things are going right. Some things are not going right. I just, again, it's so overwhelming and confusing to me. I kind of have to put blinders on and focus on my own little piece of the world. Mm-hmm. And I know there are other people who are very concerned about helping others and, being involved in the community and, different things like that. And I think that's wonderful. And I'm involved as well. I'm a Rotarian,
right.
A recent Rotarian, because I'm looking for something to be more involved in the community. That's, for me, not a faith-based organization, right?
Sure.
Something that's a little bit, different than that. And so, I do think about that, and I do want to help. And at the same time, I'm very focused on keeping my mind right
and keeping
my grind tight. Yeah. Mateen Cleaves has a great that saying that he uses all the time. But I guess I really am. I can't be bothered by all that stuff, or it takes my eye off the ball of what I'm trying to do for me and for my family and for my little community of people. And is that selfish, or is that what community is?
Right. I've always said, and we talked briefly about faith-based things. I've always really liked the prayer of Jabez. And it's a guy who prayed to God to help him have more so he could do more, to expand his territory, so he could help more people. And I think that's one of the most uplifting stories or allegories that I can think of. And it's exactly how I want to live my life. I want to be able to expand my sphere so I can do more good. And I think if everybody feels that way, we can all make a big difference. I don't know why I just talked about that. I apologize. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't either, but I think every major religion has a similar story.
Sure.
So, I don't think the concept of I want to make more so I can do more. I want to be more so I can be more to others.
That's right.
All that kind of thing is important. Whether it's faith-based or non-faith-based or however you need to label it, is up to you.
I want to have very healthy crops so I can feed more people. You know what I mean? It's a really cool allegory, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. So business is good.
And business is booming.
Yeah. And let me remind you that this program, The Session with Londa and David, is brought to you by the fine folks at Sherwood Austin Homes and Sherwood Austin Mortgage.
Oh, they're the best, aren't they?
Helping put people in all the right places for over 20 years in the Tri-Cities.
Those people really, they really do it.
And that lady realtor in the group,
stop.
So hot. It's Londa.
Hey. All right. What else have you got going on?
Well, I've got a lot going on. We've been taking a lot of new marketing headshots and lifestyle photos today. So I think that's been a lot of fun. So you're going to see a lot more of us on social media. I don't know that that's going to be good for you. But
I don't know.
Fun for us.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I'm very excited about a few listings that we have coming up. We've got one orchard on the market. We've mentioned it here before that I would love to sell right on the Yakima River. It's so beautiful. On DeMoss Road in Benton City, Washington, if you're interested in operating your own orchard.
Over 900 linear feet of Yakima River frontage.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And they've got senior water rights and can irrigate uninterrupted all year round.
Yeah, not all year round.
I don't know how it works.
Anyway.
However it works, uninterrupted.
There's a season, or whatever. But Anyway, whatever the case, we do have another little farm coming on the market this next week. So if you're not into like this 10-acre property, maybe you want just over 1 acre to do your own little thing. We'll be having that coming online Wednesday.
And you can meet the alpaca and goat who presently live there.
Stella and Charlie.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. So I watched a news story the other day, and an emu broke out of somebody's yard in Yakima and was on the loose for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The news people had such a good opportunity to make jokes about it outselling insurance for 2 weeks.
I know, but they didn't.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nobody even said, is that emu's name Limu? No one said it.
They missed the opportunity.
Yes.
Speaking of news, though, we were on the news last week.
That's
we got
right.
to be on the haunted house, selling a haunted house.
Yeah. Paranormal activity in homes. Does it need to be reported? You
disclosed.
decide.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So we did this fun little segment with Lainey Erickson on KNDU about that very thing. Like if there's if someone believes a house is haunted, do they need to disclose that? And in Washington State, the answer is no.
That's correct. Our video producer is actually in the building today as we record this. I'm going to see if he can help me put that in at the end of this episode.
Oh, the link to the
so stay
clip.
tuned through the entire episode, and if we can, we will insert that at the end.
Ooh.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. We had to get up very early for that. It was crazy. And I have this weird thing that when I have to get up super early in the morning, this is why I don't have, a traditional job.
Or a morning radio show anymore.
Yeah. When I have to get up super early in the morning, I don't sleep the night before. So that was, when you see that clip, that was me on 20 minutes of sleep. So, but it was really fun to do. But it is crazy, though, to think about the fact that you do not have to disclose, like if there's been a suicide or a murder or just any kind of death in the home,
right,
or any paranormal activity. The only thing that is disclosed in Washington is material fact.
Right.
So like, has the roof leak? Did the foundation slip? That kind of stuff. So
right. And
crazy.
And it's interesting to think about, right? Because there are states that require that. Like New Jersey is a state that requires that. And we've all seen the movie Amityville Horror, and that's why
Nope, we haven't all seen it.
They require it.
Hell no. No.
All I know is if I'm sitting in my house and my furnace yells, "Get out." That's it. I'm
out.
gone. First try.
Yeah.
I don't even know that you'd need both words. Just get. I'm out.
And then
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm running. I'm not walking out. I'm Scooby-Dooing out of there. I'm jumping up and running so fast in the air that I get stuck in the air and then take off.
Yeah.
I mean, if the wall starts to bleed, I'm out. No, thank you.
I've never lived in a house where there was like weird stuff like that. Have you?
Yeah.
You've lived in a house where there was weird stuff like that?
That is correct. I've lived in a house.
Do you want to expand?
Well, I will tell the story if you're interested.
Yeah.
I lived in a house once where every family who's ever lived in that house ended in divorce. Every single one, including mine.
Well, I mean, divorce is pretty common.
Every family ever. Well, here's the deal. Here's what's crazy. My mother and brother, and my brother is not at all a believer in weird stuff. He tells me one day, when we moved in, we were allowed to pick one wall in our bedroom and paint it if we wanted to.
Is that such a rite of passage as a kid?
Yeah.
Like you get to pick your paint color.
Yes. So Nathan did the 3 walls white, like was the house plan, and one wall, big Prince fan, purple.
Okay.
So he had a purple wall, and that was the purple rain wall, right? And he had posters of Prince and posters of Vanity and Apollonia.
Sure.
And all of the Prince stuff, right?
I'm with you.
Well, when he was there one day painting his room,
okay,
out of the corner of his eye, and he swears this is true.
Okay.
Out of the corner of his eye, he saw what looked like Abraham Lincoln with a big stovepipe hat.
Okay.
Walking across the backyard, just walking across the backyard. Dark, all in black, right?
Okay.
And then he thought, that's weird. Turned and looked, nothing was there.
Okay.
Looked full on, nothing there. Well, that in and of itself isn't crazy because he's painting a bedroom. It's enclosed.
The
Fumes.
Okay.
Maybe he saw something weird and he associated it with Abraham Lincoln because of the stovepipe hat, right?
Sure.
2 weeks later, with no conversation between anyone, my mother was in the kitchen just over from his bedroom, tiling the floor, right? Tiling the floor there by herself.
Mary was just doing tile work.
Yeah, we bought terracotta tile. I'm no longer allowed to call it Mexican tile, but that's what it was called.
It actually is still called Mexican tile.
So I was chastised for telling the story once and referring to it as Mexican tile. That's why I said that. Anyway, she's in there by herself, laying tile, and out of the corner of her eye, she sees some man all dressed in black with a stovepipe hat walking through the backyard. And when she turned, no one there.
Okay.
Here's what's weird. That part of the backyard where the person was walking was where our empty pool was. There was no way anyone was walking through our backyard because there was a pool there that was empty.
Okay.
No way. Pool there, empty. Several years later, Nathan tells me this story, and I'm like, that's really weird. And because I like stories, I then went to my mother and said, hey, Mom, you're not going to believe it. Nathan says there's a ghost in our house. She looks at me and says, is it Abraham Lincoln with a stovepipe hat? I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, I saw some guy floating across the backyard with the stovepipe hat.
Okay.
And I said, oh, that's creepy. So she and Nathan collaborated. Sure enough, same guy, right? Well, that's not weird. Here's the weird part. My mother presented a paper about paranormal activity at the National Folklore Society meeting a few years later.
Okay.
She was a PhD fellow, and she just had gotten her doctorate and was presenting this paper about hauntings.
Okay.
And she tells the story about the two separate sightings of a guy dressed just like Abraham Lincoln floating across our backyard, right?
Okay.
When she gets done with her presentation, all those folklore guys go down to the hotel bar and sit around telling stories, right? So she's in there telling stories, and this lady walks up to her and says, hey, Dr. Miner, that's my mom's last name, Mary Miner. Hey, Dr. Miner, I really could relate to your story, and it reminded me of something that happened when I was a little kid. And my mom says, oh, well, what was it? And she said, well, one day when I was about 12 years old, I was in the kitchen, and I looked out our screen door because it was open. And she was from like the University of Minnesota or something. And she goes, I looked out my screen door, and there was this man standing there. And it was the weirdest thing because he was dressed like Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
He had a big stovepipe hat.
Okay.
And my mom says, ooh, that's really neat. And I asked him, can I help you? And he said, is your mother home? And I turned and called to my mother. And when I turned back, no one was there.
Okay.
And my mom started to feel a little weird, right? She said, wow, that's a cool story and very similar. And she says, yeah, well, it's really interesting that you're from the University of Southwestern Louisiana because my house was actually in Lafayette, Louisiana when I was a little girl, and it was the house right behind our house.
Shut your mouth.
True story. True story. Weirdest thing in the world. That the house on Maryland, right behind our house on Foreman, that girl 30 years earlier had that experience.
I don't know how we got here, and I apologize, but I can explain. I can explain away Nathan seeing the thing and your mom seeing the thing. Like you can kind of explain it
if
away,
you're stripping the floor
or
Nathan's
whatever,
painting, whatever.
Yeah. But to have an independent third party that's not connected,
the house
all,
right behind our house. Weird, right?
Yeah. Now, what do you think about, since we're on this, what do you think about the idea that if your mom was writing a paper about paranormal activity, she clearly was like open to it?
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah. She had all kinds of great stories.
So do you feel like you can like that's something in some sectors, of society, they teach that like you can open and close the door to that world. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
What do you think about that?
Well, here's what I think, and this is kind of a weird thing to say, but I think
this whole show's been weird.
It has been weird. I think we all run on a certain frequency, right? We are electromagnetic beings, and
sure.
if
we're energy.
If our heart stops, you can electrocute our heart and bring it back.
Right.
So we're electromagnetic beings, right?
Okay.
So I believe, have certain frequencies, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe there's another dimension that's frequency slightly different than ours, but here right where we are at the same time, right? It's just like when you're listening to AM radio at night, you might hear a radio station from 500 miles away because the frequency is more open at night with less clutter and there's less cross signal. And you may hear, I have a friend who was from Chicago, and he at night sometimes in his bedroom could pick up WWL in New Orleans. And he went to LSU because he would listen to Shaquille O'Neal dunking on the LSU Sports Network in Chicago from WWL in New Orleans, laying in his bed. He could pick it up. It's like that.
So it's interesting to think about. When you said that, it made me think of like, how you can kind of hear yourself better when you quiet yourself?
Okay, yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I am looking for a disc golf disc, and I take out my earbuds so I can see better. That's not a thing, but I do it.
No, but like, yeah. You kind of like, I need to go get quiet with myself so I can hear. So you kind of, it's almost like you open up that frequency, right?
Sure.
Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't
Less
feel like
crosstalk, yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm saying it very well. But like, yeah, you get away from the distractions so that you can think more clearly.
Every now and then, you and I think, run on similar frequencies. And every now and then, I hear stuff that you say you didn't say.
Okay, that is weird. We have had that happen many, many times, actually, in our relationship, that you'll answer a thought that I had, but I never said it out loud. Like I'll think a question and you answer it, but I never said it out loud.
And you're serious that you're not saying it?
Yeah, no.
And I have heard that and answered.
David, even when I do say it out loud, you don't hear me half the time.
That's true. That's true. But I have heard you say, "Hey, did you do so and so?" And I say, "Well, yeah, I did." And you're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I did. I never said it out loud, or we've had that happen a number of times. So I don't know what it all means, but I know that energy is really important. So be nice to people.
Well, and science really doesn't know either.
Yeah, it's
There's nothing definitive
right?
about any of this, right? There have been studies that our government has paid for to find out about ESP, extrasensory perception, and parallel dimensions. It's a thing people have looked into, but there has never been conclusive proof that stuff exists, which I suspect is why you do not have to disclose if a house is haunted, because how on earth can you prove or disprove that it is or is not haunted?
Right.
Every time you see a show that's ghost hunters and they're going to have a revelation about the most haunted place, it always ends the same way. Well, we didn't really pick up anything conclusive. And that's why I suspect you don't have to disclose.
All I know, hit it.
Welcome back to Wake Up Nonstop Local. Now, whether you believe in them or not, ghosts or other spiritual presences are a real factor when it comes to buying a home. I brought in some experts who are sharing their paranormal experiences in the industry. Joining us this morning is realtor lender team Londa Sherwood Austin and David Austin. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
We
appreciate it.
Well, this is one I've always been really interested in when it comes to addressing paranormal activity. When you're selling a house What is kind of Washington state standard and laws when it comes to disclosing death in a home?
I love that you asked that question. I'm sure a lot of people are curious about it, especially this time of year. And the short answer is there aren't any.
Wow.
There's no laws that govern paranormal activity in Washington state. You do not have to disclose that.
Wow, that is crazy. And when it comes to disclosing death, is there anything there either?
Nope, not that either. Yeah.
So that's a good question to ask for people buying homes, right?
Yeah, I mean, murder, suicide, death, I mean, any kind of thing, no disclosure
laws
necessary.
And there are states that require that, just not Washington.
Just Washington isn't one of them. That's I mean, crazy to me. Something as a buyer I would want to know, and I'd probably ask that question.
Sure, and you want to be truthful and honest. We have a fiduciary responsibility to tell the truth if we do know something, right? But as far as the actual legal disclosures, it's all material fact.
And in your experience selling homes, this is really what I want to know. Have you guys run into any unexplainable experiences, any ghostly experiences? I have to know.
Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah. A few years ago, we were previewing a home for a client. Thank goodness they weren't with us. And I won't disclose the location. I'll just tell you it was on the Yakima River.
Got it.
And as we approached the door...
Snakes. Creepy feeling. It just felt fully wrong, and I don't know why. Can't explain it.
Like I just lost my breath for a second.
And
it wasn't like an audible, go away, get out of here, but it might as well have been. It was creepy, and we both
get out.
We kind of looked at each other. We were like, "Did you?" And then we just dismissed it. We go in the house. It just got worse and worse, and finally looked at each other and said, "Let's get out of here."
Wow, not
you just
good.
feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just.
Wow, and that's just something that comes to the job. Have you ever had people going to buy homes that have ever requested like mediums or saging the home or any kind of cleansing of that sort?
I can't wait till somebody requests a medium, but I haven't had that yet. I've had people sage homes. I've had people. I had a client once who every home we looked at, she wanted to sit in the middle of the main living space and just kind of feel the energy.
I've had a client bring a priest into the house. That was interesting. Sure, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've had clients, too, that, if it's new construction, they'll go in and write scriptures from the Bible on the framework, or they go in and pray over the home. And I think it's all kind of a similar thing, right? It's a spiritual energy of some kind.
Absolutely.
That's right.
When you're living and spending all your time in your home, you want good vibes. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, something that's cool. I wouldn't think of it coming with a job like your guys's. But
no, you don't. There's all kinds of things that you don't realize come with this job.
We could chat all day. We could chat all day about it. But thank you guys so much for coming in.
All I know is that if somebody has a house in Eastern Washington that you believe is haunted and you want to sell it, you better call us, because I would love to do the marketing on that.
And if you want to know more about my mother's paper to the National Folklore Society meeting, give me a call and I'll research it, because it does exist. It is out there somewhere.
Well, Dr. Mary Eden Miner, I suppose you could just Google that or chat GPT it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll find it.
I think that's probably true.
This has been a weird, wacky day. Thanks for being here with us.
But now we're fully in November and Halloween is behind us.
Yeah.
For the prettiest girl in the world, Londa Joanne Sherwood Austin, my name is David Austin, and this has been another edition of The Session with Londa and David. We'll see you right back here next week. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.